Hi, everybody. Welcome to 9 to 5 Nightmares. I'm Amy Warren.
And I'm Nicole Garati, and we talk about misconduct so you can avoid it.
That's right. And so let's just get right into this week's because we have a lot of things that have been going on. And even at Fama, we've started to see an uptick in what I would say are more interesting flags and content that have been coming across our desks. So, one thing that came up in the last 2 weeks is a man was harassing a woman and women coworkers, right?
Yeah, more than one.
And yeah, so there were two women coworkers, and by the way, this is all online, so this is all publicly available. And one incident, he was pressuring a coworker to discuss pregnancy plans
Yep.
that she didn't want to be discussing. And then in another one, which this is the really interesting one, he forced another woman to sing Milkshake at a company event. Now, I have all kinds of questions on this. First of all, like the minute I hear that, for some reason, I just want to start singing "My Milkshake Brings the Boys to the Yard." Um, but there's nobody that could force me to say that or to sing a song. So I just have all kinds of questions on this one.
Ugh.
Nicole, did you actually
Like,
see the posts?
no, I did. But when I heard this story, I was almost like afraid to look. I was like, oh God, like what? Oh my God. Like, I was just like, oh no. So it
So
ends
here's
up
a
in
little
here. Yes. Sometimes I can read them, other times I'm like,
so here's a little PSA for everybody, right? The reason why we do what we do is because this is amazing behavior intelligence. It's going to give you an idea of how people are going to show up at your workplace, how they're going to maybe
right,
represent your brand. Trust me, if this person is doing this at his current workplace, it's not a far cry that his next work environment,
right.
the likelihood that some kind of incident, it may not be the milkshake song, who knows what song it will be or what issue it will be, but the chances are that this will happen again is true. And we know from talking to a lot of our clients is that, when you talk to people about this behavior, um, they don't think that there's anything wrong with it. So just keep that in mind that
Yeah,
there is a lack of awareness here that there is anything wrong with harassing your coworkers to talk about their pregnancy plans or, you
right.
know, coercing somebody to sing a sexually explicit song at a
A
company
work
event.
event, right. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I think on my end, like, just seeing that there's we know from the research, from the data that when misconduct is ongoing within an organization, people either leave the company, leave the team, request some sort of out, or they start participating in it themselves. And what's interesting here is that, like, what woman would want to work with him after that? Like, that would be like a I'm gonna get the hell out of here situation, because oh my God, that's so, like, who wants to be stuck in a similar situation? And
Exactly.
so it's impacting so many different things. And who's not to say he's done that to a client?
Right.
Oh,
Right.
right,
Yeah, it just hasn't come up yet online. And we've got a number of
right.
instances in the last couple of weeks. So we have a NICU, why am I having a hard time saying this? A
Nurse.
NICU nurse
Yes,
that was fired after posting photos um online mocking newborn babies, right?
in the NICU, which
You
is
know,
intensive
that's
care for newborns, right?
and some of the things that were being said is I'm itching to let one fall as
Yeah,
my anger issues are rising. I mean,
yeah.
this is just these are the things that people are doing. This is blatant violations of code of conduct, of just even
Oh yeah.
normal decency, right?
Oh yeah.
So, this was
And she
just
put them on her personal social media, and then it got blasted all over parenting blogs, who then alerted the employer, and obviously the employer was mortified, fired her immediately. They're launching an internal investigation. They've apologized on her behalf. but they have so much damage control to do now because who is gonna like, I don't know, like I'm not a parent, but if I had
Get
kids and
ready,
that
get
was
ready.
right, that though that was coming from that hospital, I would think twice before going there.
But get ready for policies that are you can't have your phone with you, right?
Yeah, I guess.
You know,
But
and things like that. When moments like that happen, where there's such a violation of
yeah,
policy and also other people's rights, there's
yeah,
you like when you take a photo of a child that is not
yeah,
your child that you don't have permission for and do something with it,
yeah,
that opens up so much exposure for everybody involved. So,
yeah. Even
yeah.
with my friends, if I take photos of them and their kids, if I want to share anything, I'll ask them explicitly, like, is it okay if I share this? Because some people say no, and that's not my decision to make on their behalf. But to do that without consent, to be mocking babies in literally intensive care, like they're there for a reason, like
And
it's so traumatizing,
and
so
let me tell you,
traumatizing.
this person is probably looking for work right now. And
Yeah,
if you are looking to hire nurses right now,
yeah,
um, this person is pushing their resume out there and looking for a new job.
yeah.
And
Like buyer beware.
they will get hired, and they'll get hired by the company that is not doing their due diligence and that will
Right,
risk exposure to similar incidences. And
right.
then here's the next one that's interesting. I don't want to spend too much time on this one. Truth be told, I didn't even want to talk about it, but McCall, have at it.
Yeah, this one's another more than cringe one. So it's Fama does a lot of screenings with companies who want to work with influencers. And this one influencer was filming herself having sex with a dog and selling it for money on the internet. And yeah,
Yeah, so we're gonna move on quickly from this one. Influencers are doing wild stuff for money. You never know when that influencer is going to change from this kind of behavior to maybe a more professional kind of behavior, but this is still going to be out there, no pun intended, in the wild. So you need to be mindful of this. And moving on to we
wait, one thing really quickly. It's also important to note that this influencer isn't alone in misconduct. 47% of influencers we screen have some type of misconduct
well, some
flag.
type of misconduct, but let's just make sure,
Right.
this
Yes,
is
some type of misconduct.
some type of misconduct. So
Yeah.
next, moving on, we have a school counselor that was fired after posting um misogynistic content telling girls to obey husband. So this is really interesting. She said, I'm not going to go out with my friends. If he says, hey, go wash the dishes for me, I'm going to go and wash the dishes for him. I chose this man to be the king of my life, and yes, I agree with everything he says. So this was also being done at a faith-based institution. And, this is the stuff that drives me nuts. And, just I will openly share, I'm a person of faith, and people just take things like concepts that, the husband should be the spiritual leader of the family, right? That is not this. That is not this, right? You know, Talking about fathers playing a role in faith and families is not this. And so it's so interesting to me when you've got someone in a role who's a counselor, someone who's
Yeah.
posting this publicly, and especially because they are in a position of influence over people.
And
Um,
it's at an all girls high school too.
right.
So,
And it's just
right.
there are so many things in this, and I really would have hoped that we're in 2025 right now, that this would be gone. But the interesting part is this actually happened in 2023, and it's only coming and surfacing now. So this is another part of all of this that um everyone needs to kind of like understand, that the things that you post, they have longevity, they have a lifetime. And this person too is out there going to be looking to work for another school. And we have a
Right.
number of times where we see educators that are
Yeah.
applying for positions and have done something that is the antithesis of what you would expect an educator or a person in a position with children to be doing. So,
Right.
um,
And I think it's important to note too that the school, like students were complaining about this, parents were complaining about this. The school actually asked the counselor to delete the photo, and to delete the video, and she refused. So, or make the video, make the photo private. So,
yeah, I think it's just one of those things where um it's just problematic all the way across the board.
yeah,
And then we also have a Los Angeles news station accidentally posting the N-word on X and that it is a technical error. I have no idea how that happens by accident. But
yeah.
they came up with all of these excuses. Nobody's believing it. I mean, who knows what's going on there, but I think we can all agree that um that's highly, highly problematic. And,
Yeah.
um, you know, I don't know who's controlling your Twitter and what's going on over there, but, um,
Get it together.
yeah, and make sure that that person is responsible is even the word. I don't even know what to say about that. And
Yeah.
then we have, we'll wrap it up with, we've got one incident where this is sort of like an extra and a reminder to everybody. When something is caught on camera, it's not too far a leap from that video getting online. So in this particular
Yeah.
case, we have a man that was caught on camera spiking their coworker's drink with Gorilla Glue.
Yep.
And, if you are somebody who is going to be hiring this person, right? Because this person,
Yeah.
if they are not out of work soon, will likely be out of work soon. You are going to want to know this because the chances of them going into another workplace, maybe not doing this, but something similar to it, is extremely high. And this person did this on more than one occasion to the same
Oh,
coworker.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She actually thought that something was going on because was starting to smell things in her drinks and then she was getting sick. And so she reported it to police, who helped her set up like a kind of a sting, a camera to make sure that what she was thinking was happening was actually happening. And she was 100% right.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So this is where we are right now. And I think the theme of all of this is every single one of these people right now is in is probably looking for work, right? And if you were to run a FAMA report on them, these instances would come up in their report. And if you
yeah,
saw these instances in their report, you would want to discuss them with them. You would want to include them in your hiring process. And this is why we're here and do this every week, right? Because
yeah,
this is how much this comes up. This is getting to the point where it's almost at epidemic proportions, especially with more than 50% of the workforce being digital natives. So, we're looking forward to seeing everyone in the next episode of 9 to 5 Nightmares. I'm Amy Warren.
and I'm Nicole Garati, and we talk about misconduct so you can avoid it.
Bye, everybody.